Out of focus.
Oh,
Damn, bro.
dramatic effect. Slowly coming back into the light and coming back into the spotlight.
Super close. Oh, there we go.
Hey.
We're back in the light now, baby.
There he is.
Damn, bro. It's kind of been a minute since we did one of these.
Oh, it's been a fat minute.
Yeah.
Dang. Looks like you're able to knit your own beanie with this time we had on the have a new look going. That's how long it's been.
I've had a lot of time on my hands, so took up some new hobbies.
Looks good though. Looking good, bro. I like the new look.
Appreciate it, brother.
But yeah, we're back in action now. It's been a little bit of a break, but I did have a couple people during this past like hiatus period come out and ask me like, oh, so what is Duo's dead? Is Duo still going? Like, you know, and I told you about that, and I was kind of like, okay, bro, like, yeah, we should get back on it, but we can get into it if you want to right now. But
yeah, I mean, I want to say, like, you know, appreciate everyone who kind of been reaching out. You know, at least shows that people really do care about the podcast and have been tuning in. So yeah, that's pretty cool that we have people reaching out for you know, a little month hiatus type of deal. So really dope. So yeah, Car, I mean, it's been a little bit. So I guess maybe we can just like update the audience into what's kind of been going on in each other's lives. If you want to kind of like start with that.
Right. So yeah, in the grand scheme of things, life just got busy. You know, in this new year, I started a new role with NFL media, which is exciting. Sure. But at the same time, I was keeping up my other freelance work as well. And there's points, yeah, within the last month, I'll just complete like fully booked. So there actually literally was like no time to really like shoot any episodes unless I had like zero sleep. Because there was points where I was like doing stuff during the day, and then I had shoots overnight every single night, and then I was working on the weekend, prepping for the weekend as well, which is a good thing. Like, I'm super glad and blessed that, you know, I'm having these opportunities and like I'm able to work, because at some points in the past it was like, okay, are we still going to be doing this thing, you know, doing this thing that both you and I have grown to love. I'm always blessed every single day, get to wake up and do something revolving around that, and I love it. So
yeah, how has the NFL job been going, you know, and stuff?
It's been good. Yeah. It's been exciting. I mean, the state-of-the-art facility. I mean, I've told you boys about this, and like, you know, I've never been a part of a place, a culture like that nice, and it's just that big, and like the hut, you know, the cafe they have there, awesome meals at like a very reasonable price. I'm glad I started that relationship with them, and I came in right around Super Bowl. So Super Bowl is crazy. They provided like lunch and dinner. I don't want to like just like go into all of it, but it's like, it was like, damn, like this is different over here.
They're not like us.
They're not like us. Yeah, exactly. And especially during Combine, I was finally able to kind of be a part of it more, like get on the operations a little bit more. So that was great. And as you know, me, Mox, like I'm a guy who like normally wouldn't pay attention too much to Combine, just like the major headlines here and there, really. But it was cool to be like, okay, now like we're working it. So now I feel like I feel better about the edge going into some fantasy or dynasty leagues. You know what I mean? I kind of have,
I was gonna say, bro,
the research in, because I'm like literally cutting like tapes of these people. So
you kind of have an unfair advantage in this in the dynasty league now. You know, you're just around it. So I'm expecting big things in this upcoming couple.
Yeah. At least I know what's going on. I don't think it gives me that much of an advantage, but because at the same time, like, as we know, I mean, stuff's changing, happening all the time, and learning more about the different departments, different teams too, their strategy. And it's cool to see the behind the scenes of such a major media or business, you know, conglomerate. Is just, it's fine. It feels good to get that experience, you know, being behind like a big league like that. So yeah, that's been fun.
Yeah. So sick, dude.
Yeah, bro. So in this past month hiatus, you want to dive a little deeper into what you've been up to? you've had a lot going on.
Yeah, dude. I think to go into like the fun stuff, yeah, like start like been trying to create like a sleep brand, like some type of sleep formula type thing for really designated for athletes. With that too, I've kind of been really like focusing on my like personal Instagram as well and kind of what I want to do with that. Yeah, you know, some exciting stuff for that. That's been really just a fun thing for me to work on the side. But then, you know, on like another just like personal fun standpoint, went to Japan for just like an awesome family, friend, snowboard trip, snowboard and ski trip. And man, it was, yeah, really just a great experience and still missing Japan. It's been a little over 2 weeks now and still missing the food, the culture, the people. So no, it's really just a special place. And yeah, I think that trip is going to be something I kind of hold on to for a lifetime. Yeah, no, it was a great trip and great time, and really definitely kind of helped me to recalibrate and re-energize. So
yeah, it's nice to get out of this crazy country for a little bit. I was jealous that you did that.
I know, dude. Yeah, we kind of talked about it. Yeah, no, it's a good time to kind of get away right now with man those egg prices, bro. Come on. Like, dude, yeah, I'll tell you this right now, man. The egg prices are not this whack in Japan.
Yeah. You guys are probably eating good eggs.
Dude,
omelets, scrambled.
Yeah, I mean,
wait, you're over. Are you over easy guy?
I am a over easy sunny side guy. I love that.
Either or.
Yeah. I'll do either or. Kind of like, so I'll go over easy, but it's kind of more on the sunny side, like category of over easy. I like a good runny yolk. Yeah. So
over easy. So you like it kind of covered, but it's still like you can kind of still see it. So transparent.
Yeah. The yolk is like still like moving, you know, and stuff. Like one pop.
Oh, that's tough. That's particular.
Yeah. No, I have a good like little formula to make it. And it's quick and easy too. But yeah, dude, I mean, freaking like in Japan, like all the food is just like better quality. And like that was like, honestly, that's been one of the hardest things about being back is just when you go and get groceries, they don't taste like as like fresh and as good. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like right now, like it was kind of good to get away for a little bit, experience that, because then you just kind of see what else is out there too. And it made me think about too of just whenever I maybe have my own home, I want to like grow my own vegetables. I want to have some, like we've talked about it too. I want to have some chickens, like, and just know where my food is coming from. Because yeah, I feel like it's reached a point where it's like you almost just don't even know. Like what am I eating right now? Because I think when you taste like the best like example is like I'd say milk. I don't usually drink milk like that, but in Japan the milk just tastes different. It tastes creamy. It's honestly so delicious, and it made me like rethink like what am I drinking in the US? Is that milk or like what is it? Why does it taste way different? Not as good, more watered down. Maybe I don't even know. So yeah, no, just like almost made me reevaluate and kind of like at least going forward, knowing even more like, oh yeah, I kind of want like something where I'm kind of growing my own and I know where my food and everything is kind of coming from. So yeah. Good goal. I just had
a little idea spark into my mind. Like, what if we had like a farm? Because I've always been down to just like, source my own food, eggs, milk from like a farm as well. Of course, we'd have to like, get down and dirty and learn all of it first of all. But what if we did a thing where it was like a co-owned thing? Like we co-own like a farm or whatever, and people like families or the boys or people took shifts on it. Awesome. Like came in. It would have to work out with like timing and everything, but on off season you could hire people potentially to take care as well. And then like, yeah, you do your dues and like you come in, or it would be nice, I think, just like getting on the farm for like a summer or whatnot, if that was even possible. and then like you make your rations for each like person who owns it, and everything is split. You know, you come in, do the work like when you can. It's like 50-50, or I don't know, 25, 25, 20. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. I know.
Something like that.
That's a great idea. Maybe going in like a completely different direction. You just made me like spark an idea I like have had recently. So we are staying at this cabin in Hakuba, Japan. It's known as like the Swiss Alps of Japan. It's like mountains everywhere, beautiful, gorgeous. Some of the best snow in Japan. Maybe besides the North Island, Hokkaido. But we're staying at this one place, and it was a beautiful place, 15 bedroom, maybe 17 bath, completely renovated. Yeah, dude, it was unbelievable. So it was honestly like, yeah, like a great cabin, right next to the mountain and everything. So a place like that, Cart, what would you assume to like buy up like the property? How much would you assume it would cost?
Well, now it's going to be like lower than what you expect, but how would you assume 15 rooms, like 17 baths?
17 bath, yeah.
You know, like how big it is, like square, like footage wise? I don't know.
Not too sure. It's like smaller bedrooms, but like
smaller bedrooms.
Yeah, smaller. Not like like kind of like Japanese style.
I know.
But each bedroom has its own bath. So it's almost like a bed and breakfast type of
bed
spot.
And breakfast.
But yeah, 2-story.
In the mountains,
yeah.
I think at least like 3 million or something like that. Yeah.
So we got really close with the homeowner. And he pretty much told us a story about how he got the place. And so pretty much he got it when it was like sold to him, he got it for 150 grand.
Damn.
150 grand. And then he probably put in, he said like about 200 grand into renovating it. Mm-hmm. So coming out to like 350 grand for this place. So what I wanted to pose, and like just something I've been like thinking about, is you go in on a property like this with like a group of like boys, like, you know, like we got a collection of boys. And so then it becomes a bed and breakfast. So, you know, it becomes like almost like an asset.
An operating place.
But the thing is, we rotate who's operating. So, you know, like 1 month, like it might be designated for me. The next month is designated for you. Maybe Leb gets a month. Tobes gets a month. And it's like, you got to operate it. So you got to like clear the snow. You got to like make sure like everything's good around, because it's like so much snowfall that you got to really, you need like a full on like operation where you're working throughout the day. You got to make breakfast in the morning for all like the people who are like staying. So it's like, you know, but it's like a whole thing. But then the thing is, when you're not operating, one, you could either stay there, or two, it's just like, it's like a bed and breakfast that like, you know, everyone's kind of getting like, you know, a little share of it and stuff. So I don't know. Just like
that's not a bad idea. Other than the fact that I just already immediately thought like, okay, what if it's going to be like a guarantee? It'd be like, okay, September rolls around, new guy comes in, and like you see the next couple months, and it's like, okay, bro, why are there like 50 1-star reviews on the thing? It's like, okay, bro, like, hey, what's going? It's like, hey, why are ratings down this season? Like, who's not clearing? Why are all these complaints coming in, bro?
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, where you know what I mean? And that would be a cop. Like, everyone would have to be bought in on the same exact page. Like, unless you'd have to get everyone on the exact same page. Okay, these are duties, and keep the same standard. Because when you start rotating like that, then it's kind of like
true. It's true.
But I like the idea. I like the premise of it.
Maybe because of that, we could throw guys like certain dudes like I don't know if I'm gonna want to M, you know, in like the peak months, you know, like maybe we throw M in like more of like I don't know what's a good month for M, maybe like
but then that's the thing too. It's like then it gets a little complicated too. Because if I'm working my ass off
Yeah.
summer, like busy month, you know,
Yeah.
and then some dude is just like fucking drinking whiskey, like most of the time, hanging out with like a couple guests in like the off months. I'm not splitting that shit, dude. Like I'm like, you know what I mean? So it gets a little complicated.
It does get complicated.
But
it does get complicated.
I do like the farm idea though. I think that would be, because then like you don't,
Kind of
you know, if one guy like slips up, doesn't like, you know, misses a couple eggs here or there or something, it's like it's not as like, it's like
We're pretty much like creating like a Farmville. Like we're pretty much like Farmville in like real life. Like,
yeah. Might as
it's
well.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah. Next up is Clash of Clans. Like we just create like a full on like colony that we like fight against other colonies around us.
I know, bro. Shit.
Maybe just to kind of get us started, you can maybe go into what the hiatus, what the break was about, maybe why it happened, and yeah, and then you could go and then I'll kind of like give my end of it too.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, we took a little break. It was more or less a month or so, and the main reason being, at least for me, was that like life got really busy, and yeah, and the rate that we were just shooting the show and the amount of time it took us to even edit. It's the simple edits, but we shoot like 1 to 2 hour podcast episodes, and when it's just you and I finding time on the side to put these episodes together and edit for every single week, it kind of becomes a lot. So it became a lot of work. And I think both of us just needed a little break, or just needed to reevaluate kind of the foundation of what our workflow was. Because I'm sure, I mean, you were very busy at the same time as well, and we're both handling a lot. But yeah, there's a lot of change, and it was good change I think for both of us, both growing in our individual ways, different ways. But we just needed to kind of take a pause and reevaluate where this podcast was going. And I think it was for the better, honestly. But I think that's my understanding of the reason why we took a little hiatus. And it was just it was nice because it was a common understanding between both of us that we kind of just took a pause, and it would be okay. We're like, okay, yeah, let's just press the brakes real quick, take a little rest. And then once we're refueled, ready to go, let's get back to it.
In general, it was a break that almost needed to happen. And just like a couple of different reasons, you know, I think, yeah, like you talked about, we both just had a lot going on. You with, you know, a new job. And I think if we like look back to in the start of the year, you had a lot going on with the fires, you know, the fear of like just everything going on with the fires down there. That's in right. LA, which, you know, of course is going to take up a lot of your like thinking, your energy and everything. So of course, like, you know, we had like just like stuff going on in the beginning, and then we got busy, you know, you in your new role. I had like a 2-week work bender where I was kind of just going all over, working a bunch, and then had the awesome Japan trip. I think, you know, for me personally too, right in like the period of that we were getting really busy, we were also editing the Iolani Duos, or I was editing the Iolani Duos episode, and just like encountered a bunch of like problems with that one edit amidst like the, you know, everything that we had going on with our busier schedules too, just having to like work through that and really just trying to like really push through that to like get it out. Definitely kind of like took a lot, you know, because I think in general, we're both not necessarily like editors. We don't really, that's not like the part that's the enjoyable. And we've talked about this, like, you know, the editing part is probably the hardest part with this pod. And so, yeah, I think it was like kind of maybe just like burnout with like, that was like the cherry on top, having to manually do a lot of fixes with that edit. Yeah, I think for me, it was just like one of those things where I kind of just needed to like take a step away because it was just consuming a lot of time that I wanted to like redirect into other areas as well. I think the time was needed for us to kind of just, like you said, reevaluate the direction that we're heading and really just start to lock in on the purpose and the intention that we want this podcast to have on others. Yeah, and just trying to create something of value. This product, the podcast, is like, we want to make sure that it has as much value as we can for the listeners and continue to kind of tweak it so that it can benefit the listeners as much as it can. So I think in the long term, it's going to be beneficial for the podcast. And I'm kind of excited to see this new direction we're kind of taking.
Yeah, we don't have to get too much into the weeds of it, but yeah, we're not nature first editors. And, we talked about this before, but I think both of our personalities, it's kind of like we're people who like to be face to face with people, like to get out there, like to be active, like to move around, like to interact with people, not sit behind a computer and like chop up just our dumb faces for like 3-4 hours or longer than that, usually especially when there's a little technical issue that happens. It's not the most fun thing. So that's definitely, like you said, that's like the most tedious part of it. So yeah, I guess at a point it becomes like, okay, like what, man, I'm spending a lot of time on this. Like, what are we doing? I think my mindset, like initially starting off with this podcast was like, I come from a background where I worked with a lot of like digital media and YouTube companies. And it's always like virality, right? Impressions. Mm-hmm. Let's launch this thing off, like thumbnails, like the measure of success a lot of time coincides with the amount of views and the impressions that even like a short reel gets, or even that something gets. So I think that was my, like, at first I was like, okay, like let's keep growing. Let's pump out as much as we can, because you need consistency, right? To grow views and to find new people. And that's just how like these social platforms work. But then we took this break and we took some time to like think about things. And I listened to a couple podcasts that I shared with you. And what we realized is like, okay, yeah, it was maybe I wasn't like upset that like not many people are watching it or whatnot. But I was like, okay, we have a few people watching. Like, do people actually care about the things that we're saying or like talking about? And then we realized, yeah, they do. But it's a smaller group of people that we're close to, friends and family from Hawaii, and then eventually we can reach a new audience. But like really where my thought process kind of shifted was like, okay, yeah, we should be focusing on the people who are like here with us and like who actually are watching and caring and commenting, right? Because those people who are like the 5 people, and mom, dad, sister, friends, and people from Iolani, those, the people you can count on your fingers who are there and actually come back to listen and engage and comment on this silly little thing like we just talk about in our room. Like, those are the people like, oh, we should build a community around. And those are the people who like we should actually lean into and see what they want to hear, see what they want to learn about. But yeah, so that's why I want to make that a new focus kind of moving forward.
Oh, I love that. It's almost like the Iolani EP, it's like we got to like stay true to the roots, but also, look towards the future, continue to innovate. It's like, right. Finding that good little balance. Yeah. No, I love that.
It was kind of a thing of, we started this podcast and we saw ourselves as a duo. And then we were like, okay, there's so many different duos in the world, so many different categories we can touch. I mean, we were touching wild category, like water duo.
We're touching all over.
Which is great. I think it was a great thing. It kind of opened the field for us. We're like, okay, like we can dive into any topic here. But there was really no sole like focus or, like no main like goal that we had going throughout. It was kind of like, okay, let's talk about the most iconic pairs, partnerships, duos that we know, and like let's celebrate them and like let's dive into them. And then we started going to the history, we started learning more about that. But I think naturally it revealed to us that what we were really chasing is how to be the best pairs, partnerships, collaborators, duos that we can be. And like you just said, I think that's a great ethos or just model to focus on moving forward is how can we, as well as like our duos fam, all become better duos, pairs, partnerships. And hopefully by bringing on expert guests, like I'm talking like relationship therapists, scientists, athletes, tennis partner, like people from all, because you still have the flexibility to touch all these different industries and topics, because duos and the human nature of being with a partner, it's just human nature. That's how like we exist. It's business partners, sisters, siblings, mom and dad, everything. But yeah, hopefully bringing on those experts, we can just provide value for all of our listeners, but at the same time, like it gives us motivation to learn and grow ourselves. Like we genuinely want to like learn how to be better collaborators through this process as well, interviewing all these guests. So yeah, we just have a newfound purpose and energy. And like we were just talking about on the phone not too long ago, but we were getting fired up. I feel just talking about the potential of that and how that could just benefit not only everyone else listening to this, but also ourselves. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah. And even our own, like, friendship too, like we started this podcast because, I think me and Carter genuinely see each other as like, brothers for life. And even like brothers, like, we can like build and strengthen our like, relationship, brotherhood even further, and stuff. So I think it's really exciting to kind of have this newfound direction, purpose, core value, ethos that we're really going to kind of like build upon. So I'm stoked.
Yeah. So I think moving forward, at least our game plan for now is that we're going to do 2 episodes per month, and we're going to try to include as many interviews and guests as we possibly can. So if you are listening and you guys want to hear from a specific guest or have a guest from a particular industry or area come in, please let us know. When it comes to, the structures of the episodes, we're still trying to figure it out right now. And I think we'll naturally land on something. We do have an exciting new twist of an episode coming up soon where we include 2 people very close to us. But that was something fun that we did. And I think after that experience, that was a big reason too why we talked about moving into the new direction with guests, because it added a whole another layer of depth to kind of our conversation. And it was funny, it was fun, and it was just at time it got deep, like at some points too. So, and it was beneficial for everyone involved with it, I think. And so that will be coming out soon. But when it comes to competition episodes and us doing just random topics, I don't know how much of that we're going to be doing from here on out, but that's what you guys want us to keep doing. Please let us know as well, because we love doing those competition episodes. They're a lot of fun to me, at least. But I think if we focus more on including like guests and focusing on being better collaborators instead, that's kind of our new direction heading forward.
Yeah. No, that was awesome, Cart. And like you said, we're just kind of looking for feedback from the audience. And, like Carter said, kind of like towards the top, ultimately the goal is to like continue and even maybe dive in deeper on our current audience. And, hopefully it like continues to steadily grow and we add new people to the Duels family. But we're always going to be kind of like sticking to what you guys are like wanting more of. And so whatever you guys think, we would love to just hear your guys' feedback. If you guys really like the episode, it helps us out to hear you guys like, talking about it, commenting, liking, because that shows us at least that, the audience is engaged with like this type of format. And so, I think that's kind of just like the direction that we're going. We want to even hear more from our current fam, and just appreciate everyone who's kind of been along this wild everything everywhere all at once ride with us as me and Cart continue to dial in and focus and find what we want this podcast to be. So yeah, I appreciate everyone who's sticking around for it. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys for listening. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.